Hi, and welcome to Circle Time. I'm going to ask Sue to come out so we can get started, okay? Sue, come on out here. Our friends are here, and it's time to have Circle Time. We start with our Bible story, and I have a really cool verse today because, Sue, we're going to be talking about rocks today. And did you know that in Luke chapter 19, verse 40, it says, and this is talking about God speaking. He answered, I tell you, if these were silent, the very stones would cry out. God was saying, if people don't praise me, I could have even the rocks to cry out and praise me. I hope that we praise God all the time, don't you, Sue? I hope you do too. Well, let's get started with our circle time, shall we? Sit on the carpet, Sue, and we'll get busy learning about some sight words and letters. Do you remember the sight word that we've been working on this week? Let me see if you can say it for me, okay? I'm going to hold it up and you just shout it out. What's this word? This word is can. Very good. Let's try another word, okay? Do you know what this word is? This word is come. Can you say come? C-O-M-E, come. Nice job. Let me see if you can remember some of the other words we've been working on so far, okay? Just shout it out. Blue. And. Away. Big. So you'll be surprised if you look and say the words. You will be so surprised at how they really catch on and you begin to know what they are by sight. Okay, so now let's talk about our letter for today, okay? Our letter for today is the letter R. R looks like this. This is the big R and this is the little r. Let's practice writing R, okay? For the big letter R, it's kind of like going to the playground. When you go to the playground, do you like to blow bubbles and slide on the slide? Well, that's like big R. It's a number 1, and then it's a bubble and a slide. That's it. Number 1, bubble and a slide. Let's try to write it on the handwriting house, okay? Okay, so this is an uppercase letter, so we're going to put it upstairs and downstairs. So let's take a look. We're going to go from the top to the bottom, blow a bubble and slide down. So 1 bubble and a slide. Let's try that once more. 1 bubble and a slide. Are you practicing your capital R? I hope so. Now let's practice the little r, okay? For the little r, we're going to just put a little number 1, and then in a moment we're going to have to freeze, or it's going to turn into an N. I'll show you what I mean. 1, trace back up, over, and freeze. If you keep going, it's going to be an N, so you have to freeze. Let's do that once more, okay? So it's the number 1, trace back up and over and freeze. That's the little R. Let's look on the handwriting house, and since it's a little letter, we know it has to stay downstairs. So here we go. We're going to do the little one downstairs, and then we're going to trace back up and come over and freeze. That's it. 1, over, and freeze. 1, trace back up, over, and freeze. You can practice some more letter R's if you'd like to. Now, R makes this sound. R says, r, r, r. So take your top teeth and kind of put them on your bottom lip. R, r, r. That's the sound that R makes. R says, r, as in rock. R says, r, r, and I have a rock today. Now I want you to do something with me. Will you take your hand like this and make it really tight like a rock? We're going to play a little game. I'm going to teach you. It's called rock, paper, scissors, go. Can you do this with me? Can you make a rock? Now let's make some paper. Paper is flat. Now, can you do your fingers like this, like you're cutting with scissors? Okay, let's try the game. I'm going to say rock, paper, scissors, go. And then you pick one of those and you show what it is, okay? And then I'll tell you how to know if you won. All right, here we go. Rock, do this with me. Paper, scissors, go. Now do something, let me see it. Okay, let's see if you won. If you picked paper, you can cover over my rock. You won. If you picked scissors, I can get your scissors with my rock, so I won. Let's play again, okay? Help me out here. Rock, paper, scissors, go. Now pick one. I picked paper. Let's see if you won or if I won. If you picked a rock, then my paper can cover your rock. I won. If you picked scissors, then your scissors can cut my paper. You won. I hope you had fun playing rock, paper, scissors, go. You can play that later today. Maybe it'll help you remember that R says R as in rock. Okay, let's talk about numbers today. We're going to practice the number 9, and that's just one of the many numbers we've been working on. So you can do them out of order. Today, practice 9 with us, even if you're on a different number in your own practice. Number 9 looks like this. I'm going to show you on the chart here how to write it. It's just a 0 and a 1, a little 0. So it looks like this, a little 0, and then a 1 beside it. That's the number 9. Of course, we're going to count rocks. They make great counters. So later today, if you want to pick up some rocks, you can use them to practice your math and to count. All right, let's do that together, okay? So let's see if you can help me count some rocks. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 rocks. Will you help me count them as I put it back in my tray? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Very cool. We counted 9 rocks. Now I want to do another little activity with you if you don't mind. I want to see if you think that rocks are going to sink or float. I have 2 rocks that we're going to try out. So here's one rock, and I want you to give me a thumbs up if you think it's going to float to the top of the water, or a thumbs down if you think it's gonna sink to the bottom. I have a jar of water, so make your choice. Do you think this rock is going to sink or float? Sink or float? What's your decision? Let's try it out and see if you're right. Here we go. Whoa, that was a big splash. Did the rock sink or float? This rock sank to the bottom. So if you had a thumbs down, then you were right. Now let me show you another rock. Kind of looks like chalk, doesn't it? Well, guess what? Chalk is made from a rock called calcite. Do you think that this rock is going to sink or float? Make your decision. Let's find out if you're right. Here we go. It floats. Calcite floats to the top. That's pretty cool. So if you did a thumbs up, then you were right. Okay, now I want to see if we can talk about our color for this week. And I have a special craft I'm going to show you. So our color for this week is the color white. And I have some white paint, and I'm going to paint this rock. So tell me once more, what color paint do I have here? I have white paint. Now you can use any color paint you want to paint a rock. This is a fun art project for you today. But I chose white just because I wanted us to review the color white today. So look at this pretty white rock, but we're not done just yet, because a fun idea that you can do is take two little wiggly eyes and glue those wiggly eyes on, and you can make a little rock friend, and you can you can paint your rock any color you'd like. It doesn't have to be white, but that's a really fun idea that you might want to do today for a little art project. Okay, so now that's our color. It's time to talk about our shape. Our shape this week has been the hexagon. Do you remember how many sides a hexagon has? A hexagon has 6 sides. Good job. We made a hexagon earlier by using popsicle sticks glued together. We made a pumpkin. So let's look at some pumpkin hexagons here. Let's do some tracing, and the link for this activity will be below. Okay, so I want you to help me count as we trace. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many sides does a hexagon have? A hexagon has 6 sides. Now let's count the corners, okay? Help me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A hexagon has 6 corners. A hexagon has 6 corners and 6 sides, and you can do some hexagon tracing today if you'd like. Okay, we did our sight word, and we did our letter and our number. We counted rocks. We also did a sink float activity. We did our color and painted our rock white, and our shape, which is a hexagon. So that means now it's time for our theme learning. And our theme learning today, of course, is going to be about rocks. Let's start by learning what rocks aren't. Rocks are not alive. Rocks are not living. We can put fun eyes on our rock, but rocks aren't alive. Animals and people are alive, but rocks are not alive. Where do rocks come from? Well, of course, we know that God made rocks, but God made the earth, and that's where the rocks are. They're down in the earth. So I want to talk to you very quickly about the 3 parts of the earth. Did you know the earth has 3 parts? There's the outside part called the crust. There's an inner part called the mantle. And there's a part way down in the very center of the earth, and it's called the core. Let me say those 3 parts again for you, okay? The crust, mantle, and core. You don't have to remember those, but I do want you to be exposed to them or hear them. You'll learn about them, I'm sure, later. Let's talk now about the 3 different kinds of rocks, okay? The first kind of rock there is a sedimentary rock. Sedimentary rocks are made up of lots of tiny little pieces. You can kind of see the pieces here. Can you say that word with me? Sedimentary. Sedimentary rocks are made when water pushes along different parts of rocks and sediments, and those pieces get put together and then pushed down and finally hardened to form these sedimentary rocks. Let's look at the next kind of rock, okay? This is a metamorphic rock. Now, if water makes sedimentary rocks, metamorphic rocks are made by heat and pressure. So when a rock gets super duper hot and it's pushed down and hardens, it becomes a metamorphic rock. You can even see lines in this rock from where it's been pushed over time. So remember, sedimentary rocks need water, metamorphic rocks need heat and pressure. Push. Let's look at the next kind of rock. This kind of rock is called an igneous rock. Can you say that? Igneous. Igneous rocks are made from liquid rock called lava or magma. That's the stuff that comes from a volcano. And when that stuff cools and then hardens, that's when we get igneous rocks. So remember, sedimentary rocks needed water to form. Metamorphic rock needed heat and pressure. And igneous rocks need to cool down. They're already hot from the volcano. Let's take a look at another kind of rock. This is a fossil. Sometimes plants or animals that crawl along the ground die, and then they just stay right where they are. Well, over time, the things around the animal or the plant can harden and then turn into a rock. Well, what's left behind is the impression of the plant or animal. What animal do you think died here long ago? Does that kind of look like a frog to you? Maybe so. Well, did you know that you can make a fossil? I have some Play-Doh. What color is the Play-Doh? It's white, and that's our color this week. So I'm going to take a shell and I'm going to press it down into this Play-Doh. And I'm going to pick it back up and look at what impression is left. It looks like a seashell. Now, if I let this Play-Doh harden, it's going to become hard, kind of like a rock, and this will become a fossil. A fossil is just where an animal or a plant has been there before, and everything around it hardened, and it became a rock, a fossil. Okay, so that was pretty fun. We learned a lot about rocks today and the letter R. We counted some rocks, and then remember, you can make a cute little rock person if you'd like to. You can also practice on the handwriting house. And I want to tell you one more thing I'd like you to do for homework. If you'd like to go outside and collect some rocks, did you know that you'll be kind of like a geologist? That's a person who studies rocks. So if you want to pretend to be a geologist today, go outside and pick up some rock. Maybe you want to start a rock collection. Don't forget also that if you'd like, you can decorate the letter R. The letter R, the link for the printables will be below. And a great idea might be to put some rice on here, glue some rice, R is for rice, or you can even take some rocks and dip them in paint and let them fall and make lots of splats on your rock. Do some rock painting today. I hope you had a fun time. Sue, would you like to come up and say goodbye? We'll see you again tomorrow, okay, for circle time. Sue, let's say goodbye to our friends. Goodbye. Have a great day.